Now let's talk about Riley for a second.
Mhm.
All right, because that's how we're really here. The last I saw of Riley, and we've been covering, even though I don't know anything about this, we've been covering the Riley aspect of this for some time. Because of my own personal history with Dick Masterson, him sending out henchmen to do his bidding for him is something I'm very familiar with. Okay. And the last video I saw of Riley, he at least claimed he was standing outside your home. This wasn't just your business. This was your house. I don't want you to sit there and dox yourself or anything, but I do have to mention that if this was indeed actually your house, little strange, but also looked like a nice house. I mean,
yeah, my house is pretty nice. Yes,
it looked like a nice house, and there's got to be a part of Dick Masterson where you're sitting there looking at his house and then looking at your house and feeling kind of bad about it. What is this Riley shit? How did this Riley stuff start?
All right, wow. What do we start with that? So, look, as I'm explaining this, and I know there are people that watch your show that may be new to a lot of this stuff. You may be like, this all sounds dumb and retarded, and that's because it is. All of it's a nothing burger. It's all stupid. And even if I was making the worst comics in the world, I don't think this is quite the reaction that you think that you would get. But randomly, the guy started tagging me. I never interacted with him, to my knowledge. He started tagging me in these posts, saying that he was walking up a hill every day to get in shape in order to shave me.
What shape is that, by the way? Round?
I don't know where the whole bit came from, but that's what he said that he would do, and I ignored that largely, right? And so he ends up like he was sending out like threats to my like employees, for an example. And he was making these weird sort of videos saying that he was going to start appearing in person and doing all this stuff. Now, one of the biggest lies about this whole thing is that he got like our address, be it my address as well as our one of our warehouse address, from like him basically getting DMCA'd. That is not true. That never happened to him. And what he did do was use other people's screenshots, and I explained this before, to try to inject it like himself into this, basically trying to make it seem like, hey, these are mine. They DMCA'd me. When I guess he had like a store, because he's obsessed with me so much that he turned his entire online persona about me, right?
Right.
To what he calls himself. Right.
Okay,
to what he calls himself, his logos, podcast, everything, right? It was a weird, smelly old dude obsessing about me, right? And he was selling some items on, like, I think it was Teespring. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. One of those types of sites where you can just upload stuff.
Zazzle.
And make one of those types of site, but selling our logo, right?
Okay.
And he got busted for copycat for it. And that was a trademark. That would have been a trademark issue. And at no point did he get our address from that. But he used that as an opportunity to say, oh, well, Eric July is trying to silence me, blah, 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 and then he's going to appear in person. And again, he was levying threats at our employees. He was.
All right, hang on. Put a pin in that. I want to come back to the threats thing. I have to understand this part though.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts with Dick. Criticizing. Right. You have a response. Then he starts freaking out about it. How does Riley? This doesn't just happen.
He just injected himself into it, Jesse. That's all he did. He just randomly. I had never interacted with the guy. At least with the cow, you can say that I did a critique of his critique, and that really aggravated him. With the other guy, there was nothing that happened. He just randomly started doing these videos saying that he was walking up a hill so he could one day shave me. It's the weirdest, oddest, bizarre stuff.
Now, do you know that Dick says that Riley is his producer for his show?
Well, yeah, and this is what I was talking about when I talk about the whole pet retard thing, right? And that obviously this is, to your point, like the henchman thing where he's kind of operating through these other guys, so kind of he doesn't have to, right? So
this isn't like a natural thing that, like, clearly at some point someone said, hey, you know what you ought to do?
Right.
Okay.
Of course. So yeah, that's where all that came from. And yeah, long story short, he ended up coming to the warehouse. He came through the day. He was like, he drove by it at one point. He was shooting these random videos over there at the, like on the far end, like on the actual street. Like our warehouse is kind of more deep in this business park. And so he was out on the street before he had come back at night. And so my security guys buzzed me on that. It's like, yeah, it's coming out back at night. He's sticking stuff on on like the windows or whatever, right? It's like, you got to call, you got to report this stuff because this guy's being really weird. He's appearing at stuff. You know, he's already appeared at your house. He's already bragged about going to your house. Now he's appearing at your place of business.
This is important to point out that, like, he's specifically saying he's going to do something to you. Right. It's not just he's there. It's not just he put a sign. They try to act like, oh, he put a sign up and that's all it is.
Right.
He's saying he's going to physically do things to you.
Don't go to our business. Don't go to our, like, my house or doing anything crazy like that. And you'll be okay. But especially when I have employees, and this is why, be it our security guys or our lawyers are like, when there's weird stuff that happens, if you don't want to be negligent, you have to report it either way that it goes. Because what happens is, because this guy is so unhinged, and I don't know how crazy he is or what I do think he's legitimately, anybody screaming like that saying that he's going to earn his murder, I think is a pretty crazy dude. He's unhinged, right? Yeah. So I don't care how much I can handle myself. I don't care how much me carrying. None of that matters. If someone's unhinged, they're unhinged. And you got to account for that, because I don't want to be the guy that he does do something stupid, whether he's damaging someone else's property or actually physically gets in an altercation with someone or whatever, or just being an outright creeper. I don't want that to come back on me to where that ends up with me being sued or even like criminally liable or negligent rather, because I didn't even say anything about it, despite this guy putting it all on the internet about what he's going to do. So I've said it a million times, like, if it happens again, I will do the same exact thing. I'm just a guy trying to create comic books, man. I got employees that are just Joe Blows, Jane. They don't care about any of this internet stuff, man. They just want to work, get on with their lives, man. So I'm of course taking them more into consideration than whatever internet one-sided view that these guys have.
Riley showed up outside of some event, got arrested. Explain to me what happened there, what your involvement in that is, because everybody says that you had something to do with him being arrested. You say you don't. I'm trying to understand this.
Well, what happened out of that is, because of the event of him appearing, right? He ended up like at our warehouse. That was at a previous date. Okay. That was the previous year, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
He ended up getting a warrant for his arrest because of that event. Right. So he comes to again, he's not from out here, by the way. He's not from Texas or anything. He comes away from wherever he is to appear outside of this meetup. I didn't even know he was there. I'm behind this merch table. Oddly enough, he's apparently recording me the entire time, like outside on the window. So I'm like, unless I got this like Professor X thing going on and I can just summon or speaking, I don't know, the cops just appear like that. I had nothing to do with that. But he's like screaming at people outside, just being an all around weird dude to like just the customers that are just outside on the patio hanging out. And so from what I pick up, the owner told him, right, and this is what the police report says, like, yeah, he's being weird. He's creeping folk out. We don't want him here.
This isn't your venue, right?
No, I don't own this venue.
You can't have a guy trespass.
Yeah, I can't trespass, right? Okay. Right. If it was a warehouse, that's different, right? But I can't have someone trespass at that event, right? So yeah, obviously, out of that whole confrontation, I guess the cops are going to run your name, right? And they ran his name, and they found he had a warrant, and there you go. That's how he ended up getting arrested.
For something else?
Yeah, like his and that's what was so silly about it. And if he didn't know that he had a warrant, that's not my problem at all. But that's not the venue's problem either.
Right.
But yeah, he went out there, he put himself in a conflict with the police by being a weirdo. And yeah, he got arrested because he had a warrant out because of the event of him, again, doing the whole stalking bit.
I had no idea that the actual arrest part was based on something completely unrelated to all of this. So, a cop might stop you on the street, and they shouldn't do this, and you shouldn't go along with it. But if they want to ask for your ID, and they want to do that to fish to see if you've got a warrant out for you. Any contact you ever make with a cop ever, they're asking for ID. If he handed it over, That's it. He had a warrant out for his arrest. It's over. That's what they're trying to do. Okay, so that's incredible. I mean, that is exactly the kind of stupid I expect from Riley. I'm shocked he wasn't, also pissing on his girlfriend at the same time. Okay, so that happens. Now but then there's some sort of court thing, and now they're saying you're ducking this court thing. What is that about?
Yeah, so because again, out of the ordeal of him being just a weirdo stalker or whatever, the county proceeded, okay, and I guess people don't understand how these things work.
Wait, let me pause you for just a second. I just want to clear this up just in case.
Yeah,
they're saying it was for a warrant that you got, like, something to do with you. Was that? Is that true?
It's something to do. So the warrant is because the state charged him, or the county charged him, because of the weird stuff of him doing the stalker bit, right? And it lists all of that in the police report. They even mentioned him doxing my house and appearing and talking about he was going to escalate. All that stuff is there. So nothing that we're revealing here is news. I don't work for the police. I can't issue a warrant. That's not how any of this stuff works. The warrant happened out of that whole situation, and all we did was report it. Whether they decided to tell us, you just keep an eye out, or they decided like, oh no, we're going to charge this guy. That's on them, right?
Okay,
that's on them after the initial report.
So the people complaining in my chat and at large right now about, it's 100% unrelated. That I'm the one who said it was unrelated. I didn't understand that. Just to be clear. Also, just to be clear, what is your art out there? You, the guy watching, what is the argument you have for this? He went there threatening people, saying he's going to earn his murder, showing up to places. Cops were called. The cops decided that he committed a crime. What problem are you having with any? I don't understand it.
No, it was bizarre, man. The whole deal is like, and it's like people thinking that they got you nailed down on just the truth. It is so weird. Like, of course we called the authorities. We contacted the authorities after that whole deal, and that's what happened. Like, nothing. I ignored it, and I've shown this. We've seen the receipts that show that I explicitly told the officers that I ignored it all online. It wasn't until that the guy showed up to the business, right, where I'm like, all right, well, okay, I got to report this. I can't just. All right, it's not just internet funny stuff anymore. It's just, okay, this guy's taking it a little too far. So yeah, that happened. And as I said, if anybody's being weird, I'm going to do that. Like, showing up at places that you're not supposed to be at. Like, yeah, that's what's going to happen. If smelly weird guys threatening my employees and stuff, yes, the cops are going to get called on you. I'm not trying to be this like tough guy or thug or a low impulse guy it seems like that's what they want me to be. They want me to be the guy to react and get like angry enough
do you think that all this stuff has an element of racism to it? Like,
they have no problem bringing up my race all the time. So it has something to do with it, but I'm not one of those guys that likes to lean into stuff like that all the time and playing a race card. Like,
I know that's not what you want to do, but
no, on a serious note, they would have preferred me to act out, right? Like, and get myself in trouble, risk running my business into the ground because I wanted to act crazy, right? Oh, someone's threatening me, I'm gonna come see you. I'm gonna go do something to you. Like, that's not who I am. I'm not that guy, right? If you want to be goofy, I'm just gonna call the law boys on you. I'm gonna have them deal with it. I'm gonna go about my business, man. I'm just trying to run a company here. That's it. I'm not interested in any of that. It's not anything I've ever advocated, not anything I've ever done. Like, you've never seen me when I was even doing my content stuff, doing my videos, talking about like appearing at Marvel Studios and stalking the CEO or something weird like that. None of that stuff is ever anything that I've been one to like approve of. So yeah, the whole bit is bizarre.
It's not somebody trying to fuck with you. If somebody comes over to your house and writes, "Hey, asshole," on it, do whatever the fuck you want to them.
Wait, whoa. Hold up. Jesse, that's the first time I've seen that. Are you for real?
Yeah, that's real. That's fucking real, man.
Of all the analogies to use, what?
That is 2017. Let me run that one back for you. Just in case people don't understand.
Man.
Just in case people don't understand, this all
Come
started.
on, man.
This all started with Riley leaving a little "fuck you, asshole" basically note on your business, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey,
That's
asshole
crazy.
on.
Yeah, this is nuts.
Fuck with you. If somebody comes over to your house and writes, "Hey, asshole" on it, do whatever the fuck you want to them. Do what, because do is the most.
Who still has a problem with Eric calling the cops? Raise your hand in chat.
That's crazy, bro.
Do whatever
That's
the fuck
wild.
you want. Now, hang on a second, Eric. Hang on. Maybe he meant like fight him, punch him. Maybe he didn't mean legally. Okay, we gotta be fair.
Trying to be fair.
We gotta be
Okay.
fair. Let's
Okay.
keep listening. Maybe he doesn't mean legally.
that you can do under the law.
Oh, never mind.
Oh. That's crazy. That's the first time I've heard that. That's blow. Oh man, I'm seeing this in real time. That's blowing my mind. Like no joke, bro. That's crazy. So yeah, shout out, because that means that I was very much in the right, and you agree with me. When you go around leaving stuff on people's windows, writing stuff, yeah, do whatever you want. Like call the cops. You can do that under the law.
That's why the law is there. Get them fined, whatever. Stop at fucking nothing because they fucked with you first. It has nothing to do with silencing opinion.
Stop at fucking nothing because they fucked with you first. Now,
That's crazy.
I interrupted you, Eric. I want to finish this thought. I interrupted you.
Yeah.
So you called the cops on a psycho. By the way, I have had personal interactions with Riley from years ago. He is a brain dead retard. He probably is dangerous. I mean, this guy's a freak. And he's one of the stupidest people I've ever spoken to. Okay. And he hated me simply because I was a Maddox guy. This guy's stupid. This dangerous retard shows up to your business. You call the cops. Normal human thing to do.
Yeah.
He shows up outside of another event. The venue owner calls the cops. Idiot Riley doesn't realize he's got a warrant out or knows it and doesn't think about it, gets in trouble. Some sort of court case happens. What's the court case?
Yeah. So the court case had everything to do with that, right? That whole event. And we weren't really involved at all in the actual proceedings, right? Again, it was one of those things where they saw the report. They felt like it was worth, at least to whatever extent, they felt like it was worth pursuing, right? And they pressed the charges on them. We had nothing to do with that, right?
Okay.
And that's why I keep trying to reiterate to people and how this stuff works. It's not like this was never a civil case. I think a lot of people got confused and they were maybe thinking like I pressed charges or something like that. This was never a civil case in that manner. It was just
criminal case.
It was a criminal case, him versus the state or him versus the county, and that was about it. When they needed to contact us, we would reply. There was never any, and it wasn't like they were always hitting us up either, right? It was like in the rare instance that they would contact us, it was all good, right? And yeah, the case was going on. It gets to like, I believe like January, where I even got a call from I believe the prosecuting attorney. Is like, hey, this is gonna happen. This said the judge did quash some stuff, so just keep in mind that there may not be anything of this, but you know, if we need to call you to the stand or whatever, just understand that that's an option. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I think like a week maybe goes by. There's a serving to 3 of our employees. Okay. And one, they didn't serve because he wasn't there. Right. So if you
Did they serve them at your place of business?
At the warehouse. Correct.
So would you have been there? Would you have been there when that happened?
No,
or no?
I would have never. I don't work out of the warehouse all the time. Like, sure, of course, I go there from time to time, but you know, I don't pay these guys good money for me to be up there. Like, that's not the point.
Yeah,
right. And same can go for some of the other guys, like Alex, as well as Andrew. They're there more than I am, but they're not there every single day.
Okay.
And Alex wasn't there at all, right? Which is why, I shared this with you, which we found out today. Thanks, shout out to the guys that despise me so much for providing us with that evidence, because we're not a part of the proceedings. So we don't have that information readily available, like court documents, and someone screenshot the court document of me not being served, right? It says unserved on it and that they never even tried. Now, I can't make sense of that as far as why they didn't. Maybe it was because I was very cooperative. They didn't find a need to do that. I have no idea.
Let me just ask you directly.
Right.
At any point, did someone attempt to serve you and you ducked it?
Nope. Never happened. Never happened.
At any point, were you unwilling to be a part of whatever this court case would be?
No, at every point I was willing to testify. They knew that. We have contacts that show that, right? They had no issues contacting
and
me.
And why wouldn't you want to be a part of it?
That's what I don't understand. There are some people like that were putting things out there saying, well, he wouldn't want to talk about his past. And I was like, yeah, you might find that I rolled through a stop sign when I was 19, but that's about it. Like, if you want to do some discovery, it's not like any crazy thing that I did that you're going to find. Like, I had no issues testifying out of that whole deal. I was perfectly fine with that. So yeah, like if they needed me up there to go say the same thing I had already said, stalker weirdo stalks, that's what I would have said. It would have been no problem whatsoever.
Okay,
but
what do they have a problem? Do they have a problem with that you weren't involved now, or what is the issue?
Right, it went. You see how the post shifted so quickly, right? It went from he was very involved and all that stuff to, well, he didn't actually want to be a part of this, right? He wouldn't want to testify anything like that. I'm like, make up your mind.
It seems like they want you to destroy this guy that they supposedly are on the side. I'm not joking around. I don't fucking understand it, man.
Right.
What do they want to happen here? Do they want Riley in trouble or not? Do they think he should be or not?
Right, and I don't honestly know that. And it's like, again, the document that people had shared out today, which shows I went unserved, there was never even an attempt, right? There will be a return. It would say return served or unserved, like it did with Alex, for example, because Alex wasn't there. They tried to serve him.
Just for the audience, I don't want to pull this up right now, but you posted these screenshots. There's two important screenshots that were posted on Twitter today and yesterday. And you show, it's got a list of all the people that were attempted to be served. And there's an interesting thing where you're the first guy, and it does say you are unserved. Yes. But then the guy right below you, it says returned unserved.
Correct.
Which when you look up what that means, it means they attempted to serve that guy and they didn't get him. But if it just says unserved, it means there was no attempt made.
Yep. That's exactly, you put it perfect. And anybody wants to, don't take our word for anything. You can go look at the Texas code or the procedures or whatever, and it states that.
I looked it up. I had to look it up to see if what you were saying was true, because I'm not just going to believe you for no reason.
You shouldn't ever just like take my word for it. But that's the odd thing about the thing, Jesse. In that,
people in chat that were saying, so then why didn't you show up, and why were you dodging calls? What does that mean?
I don't know, because it's hearsay. They're basing that, and you can ask. This is why we haven't seen any receipts, Jesse. We'd see them by now if they existed. Some court prosecutor went on record and said that, oh, I couldn't get in contact with these guys. They've been uncooperative. It doesn't exist. They're going based on and I think it's the Cow's podcast. Someone saying, I guess that was part of his defense, maybe, and I could be getting that wrong. If I don't want anybody to quote me on it, but someone apparently in their party is saying that, but it's hearsay. There's no receipts that show that.
Hey, to anybody saying he's lying about this, I'm at Podawful on Discord. I'm at Podawful on Twitter. Whatever. I want to see it. I want to see it. I'm listening. Too. I'm reading the chat.
I would love to see it. I would love to see that as well. Some them going on record saying it would be true. And look, I'm not even saying that, okay, let's assume that they had a conversation with the prosecutors or whatever, like maybe the defending party or whatever, and maybe they misheard them say that. I don't know. I can't say that. All I could say is there's receipts of me being in contact with them. There's receipts of them contacting us, and there was never any instance of I didn't show up somewhere. The email, I proved it, showed it, which I shared to everybody. The only email of any of us like showing up somewhere is them telling us not to show up because there was either it was disposed of as a term that they had used, and we're like, oh, okay, cool. But absolutely, show the receipts if they exist. At Jesse, let them tag me in it as well. I'd love to see it if there's receipts of them stating that they had difficulty getting in contact with me. And this is the thing, just, and this is really, really important about this.
By the way, none of them are answering me why you would not do this and why they have a problem with you not doing it. Right. I'm waiting for the answer of why it's bad that he didn't.
I don't know why they wouldn't think I wouldn't testify. But here's the thing. Even if you did take their word for it, there's nothing that shows, again, to my knowledge. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or pull it up. Please, pull up. No, but there's nothing that shows that or their ability or inability to serve me had anything to do with how they proceeded, right? Whether they chose to or like, I guess, go through with the charges or whatever. That had nothing to do with whether or not they could serve me, because that was never an issue. That was never an issue. But by all means, guys, show those receipts. Other than right now, everybody's saying that, well, their party is stating that they had a conversation with the prosecutors. And that's hearsay, bro. Like, there's nothing. Okay, they're
saying it's a problem because it makes you a pussy. By the way, it's like
I'm perfectly fine with people thinking that I'm soft because I called the police.
Well, I tell you what, though, hang on, let's
showing up at my spot. I'm cool with that.
No. Eric, I have given you a beautiful gift here today. Yeah. And not me, actually. Dick Masterson, Juju the cow. Okay, this is Juju Gate. Juju gave you a gift today. He didn't mean to, but he did. He gave you the gift of, you can never go far enough. True. They fucked with you first. You can't fuck with them hard enough. How about this? They want blood for the blood god. That's what it really is. That's what they want here. You're already saying you got no issue doing what needs to be done legally with this guy messing with you. And this guy is continuing to measure. I mean, this has not stopped as far as I'm aware. He's continuing to make these videos and make these bizarre threats. I feel, did somebody show up to your grandfather's grave or something?
Yeah, it showed up to my grandfather's grave, including the pet retard, at least according to his own account.
So they listen. I think they left the "fuck you asshole" note on your door. All right. So how about this? Just say it right now. Would you look into the camera right now and say, live on air, if you fuck with me, I am willing to fuck your life up legally? I mean, your words. Say it how
absolutely.
You want.
No, 1,000%, guys. And this goes for anybody that's out there. If you are going to take it that far, where you're messing with my business, messing with my employees, trying to jeopardize the business, absolutely, I will call the law boys on you. And it's really simple as to why.
And you will show up to court. You'll show up to court.
Yes, I have no problem showing up to
testify.
Tell them that you're being weird. Yes, absolutely. I will testify 1,000%. I will do that. And it's an easy, like, it's not that difficult to understand why. It's because I am not going to put my business at risk, and I'm not going to especially put my own life at risk if it means that if I do, let's say it escalates to something crazy, right? Like, I'm not saying that I know exactly what that might look like. But if it escalates to something crazy, it needs to be on record that Eric July, the Rippaverse and its parties, did everything to go by the book, right? So now, if something happens, whatever that is, if it escalates and business has to be handled. By the way, everybody in the chat, I hate to hijack your show here, Jesse. I always say this. Everybody in the chat, say business. You know this is how we do. Say business. Type business in the chat, by the way. But yeah, if I have to handle business, I'm going to do that.
So you will show up. You will go to court. Why was it?
The law boys asked me, could you tell them what you told us? I will sit there and say yes. And I will do it every single time. Make all the videos you want. Keep it on the internet. Make fun of me. Say the comic books suck. Say you don't like them. Nobody cares about that. You can do that, right? And make no mistake, there may be people that disagree with you. Just leave my business. Like, as far as showing up to places that you ain't supposed to be at, showing up to my house, I think that's an easy request. Just don't do that. You'll be okay. But if you do, yeah, law boys, They're gonna get called on you, homie.
We got
every time.
We do have business in chat, by the way.
Business in the chat. I love it. Let's go.
All right. So, do you know why was it dismissed then? Why was it thrown? What happened with it then?
I can't answer. I cannot. The only thing that I pick up from this is that, from my understanding, is that the judge, there was something that got quashed like at some point during the trial, and that's what happened. I don't know why they decided to go dispose of this. I have no idea. And they wouldn't tell me stuff like that either. Like, the only thing they would discuss, and I'm aware of that. I will say this. I am aware that because the prosecutors told us, like, that was a potential thing, right? Outcome, right? That it would happen because of the judge and the whole quash motion or whatever. So yeah, that we knew about that, but again, it's not a plaintiff type of situation. It's not a civil court. Like, I'm not the prosecutor, obviously, in the criminal case. I'm just the guy that they would call there if they, wanted me to, I guess, kind of let everybody know my account. But that's it. That's all that would happen. So I'm not really sure. They're going to have more information about that than I am.
All right. Listen, you can never go too far. I believe that is what really needs to be said here.
I'm dead serious. You blew my mind, like, listening to that. That's
you got fucked with, and I think
crazy.
You're fully, 10 toes on it, behind business.
Yeah. Behind business, standing on it and behind it,
and in front of it, actually,
and
as
in front of it, yeah.
Sliding on the ops,
yeah, all the terms,
all the terms.